intro. Come on, you do it for once.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Guzzlers podcast. My name is Alex, and I am here today with my co-hosts, Jack's Drinking Cree, Neve.
You had to introduce me on myself.
Say your name.
Neve. I was fully convinced you were just going to say Markiplier. I was waiting for it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier.
Milk. That's what Jack's drinking.
We are doing some milk reviews. No, we are not. We are talking about the orcs.
Of course we're talking about orcs.
Right, yeah. Hi, guys. We're back.
We're a bit late to that one, though.
Yeah, sorry, I was really enjoying some milk there. We're back.
As you can tell, we're struggling to hit the 10-minute mark, so...
We are. We missed an upload. We missed an upload last week.
Every time.
We were busy. And now we actually need to... frig! We need to get back on it.
We're just making Neve's job even harder,
By the way, for the audio listeners, every time they say a cuss word, a naughty swear word, I cringe really hard because that's another just 5 minutes of editing.
Yes, that right. Let's get.
Yeah, it's a pain in the arse, honestly.
So.
Really?
Yeah.
That one's fully not.
Right, no. We need to get on the topic.
You're getting
okay.
muted for the rest of the video.
Right, we're gonna have the talking stick. Okay, when you have the talking stick,
it doesn't
you can
turn
speak.
on.
Why have you just pulled out a vibrator?
That's
right.
Jesus Christ.
Do you have the talking stick? No. Okay.
No.
So
I don't want it.
This week on our episode, we are going to talk about the orcs because we kind of like the orcs, and we've kind of exhausted Space Marines for a little bit, to be honest.
The Space Marines are boring as hell.
They are.
Come on.
Orcs are pretty cool,
Yeah.
and I kind of like orcs.
I love orcs.
So who wants to start off with some orc fun facts?
So a couple of people in this room, not naming any names, Alex, have gotten into orcs recently after saying they were going to focus on Aldari.
This time, for real, it's my last army. For real. This is
you
it.
said that about Tau, you said that about Dark Angels, you said that about Black Templars.
I was joking
and that's all
before.
in the space of a few months.
I'm joking. This is for real. I love orcs. Bad moons for life.
Yeah, but we have just been sat downstairs watching orc videos, trying to get up to speed. I know the least, as per usual. You know the most because you are obsessed with your little...
I wouldn't say I know
with.
tons and tons, but I know a little bit about
And
the
we
orcs.
all have just a general interest in orcs anyway, because they are really fun to learn about.
Yeah,
they are just fun. So it's good. It's an exciting thing for us to get onto. It's the first real Xenos we'll cover as well.
It is first the
Oh my
Xenos.
God, it is, isn't it?
We very briefly touched on Aldari in the Chaos Squad once with
with
Aisha,
Slanesh.
just a little Aisha and
Yeah.
Slanesh. But yeah, so we're doing orcs this week.
Mhm.
Alex, you've got back into them from Blackreach.
So yeah, bit of backlore there. I actually the two armies I played back in 5th, 6th, and 7th were purely orcs and necrons, and my 6th edition orc list was pretty fun. It involved a 30 boys, 20 knobs, Gaskell Thracker, and some death copters because I didn't care about vehicles.
Sounds like a good Saturday to me.
It's fun. So I've got back into them. I'm looking forward to getting my boys out.
I remember we were talking about this literally 10 minutes ago, but I already forgot. was orcs one of the first alien factions?
I think they were, because they're rogue trader.
Probably because
They were a rogue trader faction. I think.
40k came after fantasy and all the prelims to fantasy.
No, but even
At least, and orcs were already a thing that Games Workshop were doing. So I think
so,
they
yeah.
were one of the first Xenos, if
Well,
not the
I don't know what
first.
Games Workshop
they're not
was.
like the fantasy orcs anyway, because they're not like fantasy orcs. They're alien space orcs. I mean, they're still orcs at the end of the day, but it's
They're
different.
space kids.
Orcs are orcs.
It's a different concept. It's not like Lord of the Rings orcs. It's
The greener, the better.
You're doing too much tinking, and I'm gonna crump myself.
do not crump
So-
yourself.
Let's get started then. Alex, take it away with some fun lore.
Yeah, drop us some
I'm
stuff.
going to talk about the Bad Moons for a bit because they're my favourite orc faction.
They're
I
cool.
think they're really, really cool. And I'm going to drop a little bit of orc lore mixed in there because the Bad Moons are the richest gits. So orc currency is in teeth, which I'm assuming you guys probably all know listening to this, because if you're starting off on our channel, I feel very fucking sorry for you. So the Bad Moons are the richest gits. They have the teeth that grow fastest, and they also have a very fair system of if you're another orc and you're big enough to smash their teeth out, you deserve to be richer than them because you can smash their teeth out because bigger is better. There's a big thing in orcs. The bigger, the better. So orcs are born with this inherent knowledge. Or that's a big thing with orcs. Like when they're born, they kind of inherently know how certain things work. So they know what clan they belong to. So when they're born, they'll naturally have like a favourite colour. It'll be like blue, red, black,
Purple.
green.
Kind of like
No
how...
such thing.
So
Let's talk about purple orcs, right?
Oh my god, you're getting him off topic straight away.
They don't exist.
No, I was just going to ask if it's like a psychic connection in a similar way to how some Primarchs know that they're Primarchs.
I think.
Primarch.
Just turn that off. What is that?
Sorry, boys. I accidentally planted a pipe bomb in the room. I'm a
What
sneaky
just
git.
happened, man?
I'm a sneaky git.
Bro, what? I'm lost and confused and scared.
I think we just accidentally set a timer off. Well, we're not the most cunning of Umis, but that's what you expect from an Umi. So basically, orcs do kind of naturally know that bigger is better. Bigger means better.
Yeah.
So you always follow the biggest orc. You always listen to the biggest orc. And if you are the biggest orc, you crumb some other little orcs until they follow you because you're the biggest orc. They also have favourite. So if you're a bad moon, you might not know your bad moon straight away, but you like the colour yellow, and orcs naturally accumulate with other orcs that have the same interests. So like bad moons like yellow. Naturally, so, and they have faster growing teeth, and they kind of just all inherently know this, and they also have a very inherent understanding of like technology and stuff. Or even though orc tech's weird, but
They're engineers.
yeah, they
Kind of.
So they have mech boys who are like they kind of understand it a bit more. Like they have pain boys as well who kind of understand orc medicine a bit more. But again, orc medicine is kind of just fuck about and find out.
You literally said like, "Oi, Captain, I staple gunned your organs back in, except the ones we couldn't save. We just took them out."
Except the ones that were worth anything. I sold them.
Yes, that pretty much. If you're an unfortunate orc, if you're an orc war boss, they'll do a good job. Like Guzzlers got his head cut off. They've got the finest staple gun out in all the
They
land.
stapled like 20
They got a
orcs
nail
together,
gun.
I
didn't they?
think that's a big thing to mention about orcs is they're highly not only are they highly intuitive and they kind of understand the world around them, they're also very very resilient. Orcs can just get shot and they're like, orc can still crump, and they just go and crump. Or they don't really know pain as much. They are, but the more I talk about them, the more you kind of realise orcs are just the Tism bots of the 40k universe.
Yeah,
where, like,
orcs have Mong strength. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the best way to imagine. Yeah, it's Mong strength.
they're very cool. They're very cool in that way. Like they have their little special abilities. But I'm going to try and go back to the bad moons a little bit because I do like the bad moons. They're not liked by other orcs.
They hoard and they fucking hoard money.
They're rich.
Horrible capitalist pigs.
They love their tech. So they have these big techie guys. They have big techie guns. They don't do melee as much because they find it much more funny to watch another orc warbot clan get excited that they get into melee. They then run backwards and shoot them to death with their looters. And they find that hilarious. Because the other orcs get very mad, and the bad moons are they're dickheads. They are just rich dickheads. They just enjoy it.
The bad moons, out of interest, they're kind of like some of the more intelligent ones.
Yes,
as well?
so the bad moons also have a higher rate of freebooter joining, and if you don't know, freebooters are another orc clan. That's what all the defective orcs go into. For our audio listeners, Jack is rubbing his belly right now, like a little
like
genie.
a little gremlin.
I drank so much protein shake and now my belly hurts.
He's full of milk right now.
Oh,
Milk.
Oh, give me some milk.
I need a milk. But yeah, so they're kind of they are more intelligent, but the freebooters again are another orc clan, which are like space pirates basically. They're orcs that never fitted into another clan. One of the most noble freeboot bosses actually used to be a bad moons, but I can't remember his name for the life of me.
I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
I think it's the only freebooters Captain Modern you can actually buy its name.
It is.
If I
But
forget,
I can't remember
I just
it.
go with Canobulus.
And it's like it would be something like Ugg Tooth something, right? It is weird. Who knows?
Oogie
But
boogie.
they're basically like space pirates. They're quite intelligent. But the bad moons are more intelligent orcs because they can actually learn. They find it a bit easier to learn languages. They find it a bit easier to talk to other races. They find it a bit easier to do other stuff. For our audio listeners, Jack's now just fell over.
He
but in the most fun, in the most hilarious way ever.
Alex, I think we might need to help him up because I think he's
No,
actually.
let him sit with it. Let him sit with it for a minute. Let's let him sit.
Gramps is in a predicament. Gramps is in a predicament.
That's why we just hear the back of his chair just snap and he falls backwards again.
A £70 IKEA chair.
I don't know what's happening with me
Don't stop
today.
leaning backwards.
I got orc brain and stuff. It's just not
Jack,
that.
so yeah,
When you talk about the
Jack is method acting as an orc. He's currently fully dressed in green.
Ooh.
I've got some cam cream in that top drawer. I think if you want to put some on, I think it's got some green. Oh no, it's not in the top drawer. What?
Yeah.
For our audio listeners right there, we just opened the top drawer and saw some very disturbing stuff that I will not mention for our audience.
14-inch monster dildo, okay?
It looked like an orc one if they had genitals,
Covered in blood.
but
and
they don't. Orcs are funguses.
We're really getting off to like a
Yeah, so
hot
no. Orcs are fungi, okay?
Yeah, they have little fungal sacs and they.
So this
they
is
grow.
kind of why orcs are kind of a big threat to the galaxy.
It's hard to
They,
eradicate them.
Yeah, so if an orc has been, a single orc gets to a planet, you might as well blow the whole planet up. Because even if he dies, he's releases little spores everywhere. And
They
then
keep
more
coming.
orcs grow.
And they come out fully grown, so you don't know what orc's there until a fully grown orc boy or orc knob or orc boss or whatever they were that was growing pops at the ground. And and those orcs as well, because they're inherent intelligence, already know what role they have, so they can already start forming into little wars and stuff.
Yeah, they kind of pop up everywhere. But luckily for the galaxy, most of the orcs are gone on
Right.
holiday right
Well,
now.
most of the Goths
Yeah, they've gone on to holiday in the warp
with Gazkul.
to
Gazkul.
avenge Captain Yarrick or Commander Yarrick.
But I wouldn't say to avenge him almost, because I think Gazkul always wanted to kill him. It's more to kill Angron as Crump Angron, I should say, as a little angry note of killing Gazkul's prize, because Gazkul wanted to kill Yarrick because it was Gazkul's trophy, and Gazkul liked Yarrick. It was his arch enemy, and you don't kill another Orc war boss's arch enemy. You don't crump him. That's
Fastest
their
way to
job
get
crump.
crumped yourself, to be honest.
Well, I think you said before as well. I do agree with. I would love to watch Angron get brutally murdered by Gazkul, so he can't.
And
come
you
back.
love
Yeah.
Angron.
I
so-
like Angron. He's my favorite Primarch, and he deserves it. He killed Yarrick. You don't do that. You don't kill. You don't crump another man's crump. Okay? You don't do it. It's not okay.
That's almost as bad as like fucking another man's wife.
Yeah, crumping another man's crumpy is a bit of a crime in orc society.
I'm just imagining crumpets right now. For our American viewers, crumpets are delicious, so fuck off.
Or,
Don't know why I
like
said that.
one of them.
One of them.
We have 5 subscribers and 3 of them are us.
Hey, I'm not subscribed. I just leave hate comments.
No, we have like 1 dislike, which is weird.
Yeah, fuck you.
How we got 4 viewers and a hate us already?
It just shows how likable and charismatic we are as people.
It's definitely because it's definitely like the one Space Wolf fan. After we called Lehman Russell
To be
Furry.
fair, which faction haven't we shot? Well, orcs. We love orcs.
We
Orcs
love
are cool.
orcs.
Yeah,
You're cool if you're
Back
an
on
orcs
orcs,
player.
back on orcs.
Yes.
Back on orcs.
We'll keep tangenting.
Alright, keep going.
apologies.
In that case, what was I even talking about before? We were talking about them in the war, but I have to admit I don't
Crumping
know
another
much
man's
about the
crump.
Goths because I'm not a big. I like Gazkul. I'm
It's
not a
them
big
being
Goth
mushrooms, them being spores.
fan. That's pretty
Yeah.
much the main thing there is to them is have a little spore sac. They leave the spores on the planet. Orc comes out.
That's why it's super hard
Crumping.
to get rid of orcs if there's an infestation on a planet, and you've just kind of got to
Basic
accept it. Yeah, it's
Basic
like when you
can't.
get mold in a uni flat. You know, you just got to accept it.
You accepted knocking off 10 years of your life, so you just
You just got to inhale that black mold,
No, but
and
the
you just got to
thing is-
accept the crump.
Doesn't the Imperium just glass the planet if it's
if
like,
it's
been
too
invaded by
bad.
orcs?
If it's
Yeah.
too
They
bad.
don't
If it's
even bother. They're like,
minor-
oh, get rid of it.
If it's minor, it's like and then if it's a little serious, they're just like, you know what?
It's why the Steel Legion is so good at killing orcs. So Steel Legion is the
Tanks.
native guard regiment of Hell's Reach,
Yeah.
where you had the big Hell's Reach battle with Grimaldus and all those cool Black Templars, and they're fighting orcs. They're fighting a massive orc war, planet-wide war, which is like very rare. You like the thing is, a lot of people in lore you hear about the big wars, but they're not that common. The orcs are very frequently planet locked.
What's a war?
A war is when you get a big gathering of orcs led by a big boss, the biggest boss, and there's like loads of different factions. So there might be some bad
So
moons
it's-
in there,
it's
some
kinda like-
speed freaks.
They all
like a
come
tribe.
together.
Yeah.
Not a tribe, more of like a movement.
They
Like
Oh,
amalgamate
okay.
all the smaller bosses under one big
a
boss.
crusade.
And they-
Imagine like a crusade.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An orky crusade.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the best way of describing it. And they they become quite scary because that's when because the bigger orcs get and the more mass they have, the more intelligent they get, and the more strong they get as well, the more crumping they do, and the bigger the force, the more crumping they get to do, the more fighting they get to do, so the stronger they get, and that's when you start to see stuff like mega gargants emerging and orc what's it called, like death rocks or something like that, which are really cool little orc spaceships that really
Orc
do nothing but spin around. Oh, the stomper!
Orc stomper.
I guess a lot of people who are unfamiliar with the lore, like, I assumed that orcs were really, like, stupid. They are, but it's like, I also assumed that because of that, they were, like, psychically quite vulnerable. But actually, they're not. It's the opposite.
They're highly psychic.
Yeah.
But they're not also not.
But they're they're very. It's more like they're very resilient, isn't it?
Very. You can't really psychically fuck an orc.
There's nothing going on up there. There's nothing to. But also, they're not psychic. It's very confusing.
It's like if you blow an orc up with your psychic brain, the other orcs aren't really going to get affected by it at all because that orc went in a big boom, which means they get to go fight alongside Gork and Mork in the afterlife. So it's like
orc weird boys as well are pretty cool because they don't know what they're doing, but they're just like fuck it, try to blow something up, and either all their friends around them blow up or the enemy blows up, and either way it's a win. Okay,
exactly.
Orc psychers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So they do have psychers, but they're quite uncommon and they're not liked by other orcs a lot because they're weird. They're weird boys, but they're very valuable. Orc war bosses, I think orc boys and lesser orcs won't realise their value, but war bosses are generally a lot smarter and more cunning. Hence why they like, you did a lot of god research. Like
I did. That is Mork, yeah.
And so war bosses are the people who really realise the value of the orc factions that aren't like commandos, weird boys. I'm trying to think of other orcs that aren't actually liked. Even to an extent, Grots and Snotlings and Gretchens, they're seen as very unvaluable and also very valuable.
Don't they not like the rich orcs as well?
No one likes the Bad Moons.
Yeah.
The Bad Moons not liked because they don't fight like
they don't
orcs
follow.
fight.
They don't do what orcs do. They'll
shoot.
Well, even like the more intelligent orcs aren't liked as much because like the majority of orcs are like, we just want to crump honestly with our clubs. We want to hit you over the head. And then people who, like, strategize, they're like, that's not the true nature. That's not...
It's basically the Goths are probably the most orkiest of orcs. They've got the biggest boys, they've got the biggest bosses, and most of the greatest orc war bosses are all Goths. It's like Gazkul is a Goth. I don't know any of the other Goth war bosses because, quite frankly, Gazkul is the main boss, so it doesn't matter.
I have a hard time pronouncing them. I tried to pronounce one, like, literally, again, 20 minutes ago while we sat downstairs, and you were like, yeah, that's not right.
I can't remember what their names were.
I can't remember who we were on about.
I wanna come back to the point you said earlier, Neve, that orcs aren't very intelligent.
Yeah.
Because I would say orcs arguably are the most intelligent.
Tell us why.
So, whatever orcs believe is true.
To an extent. It's over-exaggerated in lore a lot, but it is,
Well, you ever seen a purple orc? No, because purple makes orcs invisible. The theory stands.
He's showing up to the 2,000 point tournament with an empty train covered in purple paint.
Purple paint all down my arms, yeah. No, but so everything they believe actually comes true. So they believe painting what? Like vehicles red or vehicles
faster.
Make
red is faster.
Yeah.
Blue is luck, and yellow is Daka or money.
We looked this up downstairs again.
Yeah.
Because you said I couldn't remember. You said it's yellow faster. I thought actually I think it's more Daka, but I couldn't remember. So we looked it up, and yellow is Daka and money.
But you just think, oh no, that's not real. It is real. It does work. And on top of that, let's say maybe orcs really are resilient, or do they just believe that they haven't had a fatal wound yet?
They are naturally more resilient. The main
more than a human,
but a lot more. Yeah, humans are very squishy.
I think that's what they believe because you have the pain boys. They don't follow any surgical. They each do their own different thing and say that doesn't work, and then someone dies. But if they take 2-bit orcs, staple them together, if they believe that'll work, it will work.
A lot, yes.
And that's what happened with Gazkul. He's like 20, 30 orcs stapled together with Gazkul's head on top. And all of a sudden, you've got the biggest orc to ever live.
I think, did they just staple? I thought they just stapled his head back onto his body, didn't they?
No, I'm pretty sure. Give it a Google. But
I've lost my Gazkul lore now, man.
I think here's like 20 orcs all stapled together.
Yeah,
love
so
them.
we were saying that theory of like what they believe is what happens is like a thing that is done within reason. It's like, yeah, some of their guns and engineering and medicine.
Anyone else uses it.
Medicine in heavy quotations, like, it should not work. And if they suddenly go, yeah, why would that work? It wouldn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go so far as like some people have the theory that like the Admech are only so strong because the orcs believe they are. And
I believe it. I stand by
really?
that.
You think so?
I got my counter theory. I think that's how the warp works in general, because you know how warp gods get manifested, but if enough people believe in them.
Yeah.
The Admech all believe in the Omnisire.
Yeah.
Therefore, the Omnisire kind of does become a real god in a sense. I think the Omnisire will be. Don't know if it is. It's not official canon.
But it's like there is like
work.
a somewhat power of belief anyway. That's
Yeah.
a real thing.
The orcs just have it better.
But the orcs, because they all are very psychically powerful.
Yeah.
Again, this is the thing. What they believe kind of does happen. I reckon that the reason that, you know, the Admech can do all these crazy machines, even the Admech don't understand how to do it. That's the thing. The Admech don't understand. They're just like, this works. We don't know why. The orcs like, it looks complex. It works, and it just does.
I think the main thing with the laws written at the moment is more orc thinking can only affect orc tech. So like, there's that funny thing, and there's that funny fan thing as well of the guardsmen, the commissar go like, wait, I have a theory, when they run out of ammo, pick up a gun and go like, bang, and the orc just dying. That's like another little funny fan bit in some of the lore, which it kind of could. I don't think it would work, because it's more, the best analogy is the orc guns. Where like, if you get an orc gun and take it apart, it will just be full of like nuts and bolts.
Yeah, this is the all the orc weapons are just a bunch of scrap metal put together, and it shouldn't work.
You said,
but
it
does.
There's like ones with like multiple ammunition, but they only have one trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you see, the orc missile guns and combat weapons are the most famous, where they will literally have like 7 missiles stapled to it, like 7 a flamer on the side and a big gun, and 1 trigger to it all. Because the orc would be like, oh, this trigger, if I put it like this, will shoot the rocket, and then the rocket go boom. So you pull it slightly differently, and the rocket flies off, goes boom, and the rocket's actually just taped to a stick.
But this is the thing as well. I think orcs themselves, why it's the whole like the space like asteroids they build or they build into. They just whack thrusters on, and it goes. But should that really be possible? Probably not. But the orcs believe it works.
It doesn't fly very well,
but it does fly. This is the thing. None of the orcs guns work very
like,
well, but they work.
Was it just called an orc rock? Is that literally what it's called? It's just called a rock.
They just stick a load of guns to it, a load of rockets, and they hope they hit the planet.
Yeah,
that is orc genius.
Or another ship, or
I think. They are capable though. Like going on the orc rock, they are capable of actually building stuff that is technologically impressive. Again, when they have a big enough war, they're intelligent enough, because that's when they do naturally understand. Then it's not all just nuts and bolts and stuff. Like the orc mechs do understand basic concepts like how to make force fields. Like hence you get the bubble chucker gun, where they took a force field, reverse engineered it, and made into a gun that shoots explosive force fields that blow up.
Is that the one that I called the boomers?
Yes, the boomers.
Which like the boomers like Jar Jar Binks uses.
I hate Jar Jar
some
Binks.
Some of the weird boys in them as well are starting to actually figure out physics. Because that little book, I've barely started reading because I struggle with reading. May or may not be dyslexic. Who knows? And it's the free one for the Black Library celebration. There's a really, really small, like maybe 10, 20 page little short story about little Gretchen in it. And in it, the actual Gretchen is talking about like, it's like some of the weird boys theorize that heat rises, but as I'm going deeper, it's getting hotter, so they are wrong. I think that's quite like, that sums up orcs quite a lot, is that there is no like thought or understanding, there is just
natural.
There's something,
sense, yeah.
But it's quite cool because what they believe is just what they believe.
Yeah.
They don't care.
It's kind of like, I'd say it's when you go back to like the medieval era, where there's some people who are quite intelligent and have a basic understanding of the earth is flat and rotated on the backs of elephants.
Yeah.
And they're the clever ones. And then there's the other ones who go like, well, hang on a second, I don't feel the world spinning, so I don't think it spins.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like orky.
Hang on a second, I can walk backwards on the earth. I should be able to do that.
Are you telling me that the orcs are flat earthers?
No, because they can go to space and see around us.
They're globers.
Yeah,
they're globers.
Yeah,
They might be donuters, to be honest.
Oh, they could be donuters.
Well, that's the orcs that actually leave the planet, though.
Yeah,
I think because a lot of orcs are planet locked until they get, say, for example, they embark with the freebooters and they get a lift, or they get a ship, or they're the bad boomers,
board a
they're just
rock.
rich. Or there's like, hey, we're on this big rock. Let's stick some rockets to it and
Do
move.
you reckon they've done that with the whole planet before? They just stick
Oh,
some
100%,
Yes, they
100%.
have.
Have
So there's
they?
this big thing called, I think this was the War of the Beast, I don't know, but they had this attack moon.
The beast, yeah,
Attack
this is
moon.
interesting.
And what would happen is the attack moon's jaws would open, and this great war would come out, and that would be from the beast, who was like this. I don't think anyone saw it. Massive orc. And they would just, this flood of orcs just fly out of this moon, and it would fuck up the gravity and mess up the planet, and the orcs would just go to ham on this destroyed planet. Like that's pretty cool. So the orcs have made a planet fly before. Well, a moon, but close enough.
Oh, yeah.
More on the beast.
I don't know anything about the beast.
Really? So
Do you?
he's the greatest orc to ever live. The biggest. He's revered, arguably, as like a demigod by the orcs.
Yeah.
There is something. He's ran the greatest wars. He was the biggest threat the orcs had ever produced. But no one really knew anything about him. You never saw him. You just knew he was formidable.
I don't think there was.
I remember, he
description of him.
fought the Primarchs.
I think it's believed he might have actually been a croak, wasn't it?
This is the
There
thing.
was a
He
theory
fought the
about that.
Primarchs and he won a couple times. He did. I don't know where he is now. I don't know the exact lore, but it comes down to right now we think he's a croak.
Yeah.
Remind me what a croak
So
is.
a croak,
Super orc.
it's effectively a super orc. So like how we evolved from a primate
Yeah.
millions of years ago, orcs evolved backwards from a super orc, which was like a weapon designed by the old ones in the War of Heaven,
Yeah.
when the old ones for the Necrons and the old ones made the Eldari and made the Crocs to fight them.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But they all kind of went extinct because they started to evolve. They didn't do enough fighting, and they've evolved into modern day orcs. But the theory is that the beast was a croc that had bypassed this somehow, this de-evolution, come back to see all his brothers.
We just survived.
Like this.
Yeah.
He could have just survived it, and he led the greatest orc bit of history ever.
He got the
And he's
bits
disappeared.
together.
I don't think he died,
He got
did he?
killed. I think
Did
he
he?
got killed. I don't know. I need to read the War of the Beast saga because it's meant to be amazing, but again, I've not actually.
Christ, we don't know anything about this.
I don't. I only know bits of. I really like orc tech. Hence why I play Bad Moons. I love orc tech, so I learn a lot about orc tech.
We were watching a video on Orc Tech before
Orc
coming up here
weapon.
tonight on Orc Weaponry, and it is just interesting. We were watching a video about Orc jobs as well.
The orc job.
And,
I think
best Orc jobs.
the grots get. Speaking of grots and corrections, actually, they do get the hardest. But I think
Yeah.
there's that fun bit of the lore where you get the defective grots who go and form their own little bands and they fight against the orcs. That's their whole purpose in life.
Yeah.
They build their own tech. I always want to do that as a little army, just a grot army.
Grots are like. Am I right in saying that Grots are just like little goblins?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Gretchens and Snotlings. Gretchens are slightly bigger than Snotlings, which means they're
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Gretchens are more likely to get stuck in the fight, while Snotlings get thrown through a Snotling launcher. Or what's it called? It's called a Big Mac with shock attack gun.
Where they get they
Suck
like
through the warp.
they get sucked through the wall, rematerialize potentially inside of people.
And fully insane because they've just went through
Yeah,
hell for
fully
like
insane.
thousands of years.
And inside people, inside things, and they also apparently shit themselves on impact.
I'm just imagining.
They
Imagine
just
being a
What?
guardsman.
defecate violently when they respawn. It said that.
It did. Imagine being a guardsman though, and then suddenly feeling a bit bloated, and there's this insane grot that's just shut itself inside you,
And then just starts like
tearing its way out of your
writhing,
stomach.
screaming.
Yeah.
It'll be like that.
Like Alien, isn't
You ever
it?
watched Twilight?
I think I watched it. I was like 6.
Yeah.
Red
do you know the
flag. Have you watched Twilight?
I was gonna say the scene where.
Right, boys, that's enough of the podcast today.
No, I was gonna say the scene where Nessie was born in Twilight because the vampire baby like eats its way out of the stomach.
We want to reassure you, Neve will not be the next podcast.
Yeah, I'm retiring after this, and
But
and we're starting a Twilight podcast instead.
I've read up just on the orc real quick, on the beast real quick.
Mhm.
Supposedly he's dead,
Yes.
but there's nothing to confirm it. He got assassinated by many kill teams of Astartes, specialised in orc combat from all chapters, being deployed to assassinate him.
Oh my God.
Most failed, but he supposedly got eliminated. But his war is still doing stuff,
Yeah.
which normally means the leader's still there.
Yeah.
Because when an orc's war's like a war boss dies, the orc the war disbands.
Yeah. They run
But
away. They lose all
His
coordination.
war is still going. So it's up in the air.
So
whether...
either he's still alive or a bigger boss took over again.
Yeah, a
So
bigger
another big
boss is taken.
Because bearing in mind, with having a big boss, the orcs around them will naturally get bigger as well because they get all clumping. So his knobs...
Oh.
You're laughing at that.
That sounded bad. His knobs will actually be bigger and harder than the other boss's knobs.
What would they be, Alex?
He has the biggest and the hardest knobs around. So they actually would naturally be probably a lot bigger than normal war bosses of, like, say, just a standard Bad Moons or Goth or Speed Freaks clan. Just because he was so big and intimidating.
He was so big and hard.
Yeah, he was so big and hard. They would have to do more crumping to get to the top, and there would still want to be more bosses.
I love that you keep switching in and out of, like, the orc dialect voice.
Crumping.
It's natural. It's not everyone should do orc. Any orc player who's at a tournament, if you get sick of them doing the orc voice, fuck you, man. It's needed. If I get more annoyed if an orc player didn't do the orc voice while playing an orc game.
But I could just speak and they'd think I were doing the orc voice.
No, it's Cockney. It's a Cockney accent.
I think it's got some northern twang.
I'd say Cockney and Northern mix. Some of it's
Cockney.
a bit weird.
It is Cockney.
It's meant to be Cockney.
It's mostly
based
Cockney,
around it.
yeah.
But it definitely has some Northern twang to it. Some of the words they say are a bit.
You were talking about air squigs earlier.
Or air squigs.
Let's just talk about squigs.
I want to talk about squigs.
Squigs
I'm so
are
excited.
squigs the same. They're just mushrooms.
Literally
But
everything are orcs, yeah.
They're just meatballs. They're just angry
anything...
meatballs.
There's loads of different squigs.
Yeah, no, it's anything orc related that is not an orc, a Gretchen, or a Snotling, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So like, so orcs can't grow hair.
Yeah.
But if they want to look flashy, they get a hair squig.
Yeah.
Stick it in the head.
It bites the head. Yeah.
And now they've got hair. And the squig gets nutrients, so it's a symbiotic relationship. I think they might benefit the orc in some way, but
Clonk.
it looks cool.
Do you know who Clonk is?
No.
Or Cronk. It's not Cronk. Clonk is the a squig who's got like an anvil head, a flat anvil head, and he releases a model. I can't remember what favourite model I've ever seen though.
But squigs, there's also there's so many different
squigs.
Bomber squigs where they just literally give the squig dynamite to chew on because the squig's favourite snack is grots.
Yeah.
Love a grot, chewy grot. But you give it dynamite instead and tell it to run, and it will run while chewing its grotty dynamite. That is a grot.
Yeah, for the audio listeners.
Oh, it is Age of Sigmar. Yeah, I've got a picture of Clonk.
The Sigmar Rhino squig.
We love Clonk.
Yeah, but he is a Sigmar model. It's an old Sigmar model, I think.
No, he's not. He came back recently.
Brand new. That's a brand new one.
Oh, it's new. Look, I saw some square bases, and now I'm seeing weird fan art. I'm seeing weird fan art. I don't want to see it.
Fantasy.
Show me that fan art.
No, it was some Necron stuff that came up for some reason.
Oh God.
But I think the thing they also have these things called buzzer squigs, which you used to be able to fire out of orc catapults, which used to be models, where you get a buzzer squig hive, and these are very angry flying piranhas. Basically,
it's kind of like a beehive of angry flying piranhas.
The little flying squigs. Yeah, they have like them fly around and
they got like little
buzzy jaws.
Yeah.
They launch them into the guards, and they're not too harmful, but they're more really, really hard to get rid of because
Really
when they get
angry.
angry, they just bite.
The new orc models, the kill truck and that kind of stuff. The kill rig.
Kill rig. Giant
That's
squig.
a big giant squig, isn't it?
Big
Giant
squig.
like rhino squig, and all the like squig riders are pretty cool.
Big squigs.
They're just very cool. I like squigs more than I like orcs. I
I
think.
get kind of sad because squigs in Sigmar look very different to squigs in. Well, they're not like insanely different, but I prefer the Sigmar squigs because they look a bit more. They're a bit more meatbally. They're all mouth.
You can still get the meatball
not much
squigs.
else. But I feel like a lot of the squigs in 40k are like on four legs.
They're just a very underrated
and
model.
around.
You can only get squigs in 40k if you're buying like the Orc Commandos Kill Team or some other little Orc boxes. You might get a squig.
Sometimes
I'm
you might
not
get
gonna
like a
review
little
it.
one on the base just for giggles.
Yeah. They need their own unit though, because it's only is they only come with bosses and stuff, and you can like in the lore the orcs do field the units of squigs, like they just send them forwards to go like
There's literally isn't there
Fuck 'em up,
literally
man.
like, isn't there literally like herders like they've got like a symbiotic relationship where like the squigs won't really attack the orcs because
So-
they've got this.
Oh no,
link
the
with them.
squigs will attack you if they think they can eat you. They'll try and eat you.
They do, but they're a bit more chill with the orcs.
But
like,
orc herders are actually more for grots, like the grots.
Snotlings and
So
stuff,
they're kind of the way to view a orc herder is like you view them as like a dog breeder, where they'll breed and train the grots to be the biggest and the baddest of the grots, which isn't saying much. That's like
being the tallest dwarf.
yeah, it's like the strongest twink. Like either way, it's not massively impressive. But they can breed. They're like grots are desirable. I'd view them more as like designer stray dogs.
Like grots
Yeah.
or squigs.
grots.
Oh, it's like when they take.
Grot herders do.
It's
grots.
like how they've taken French bulldogs and started breeding them to actually be able to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So normal French bulldog's your average grot, and a herder might go with the right amount of orc patience, which is not saying much.
2.5 minutes.
That's the same amount that I have.
So orc patience is just they might beat the grot, but they won't kill the grot if it does something stupid. So that's orc patience for a herder. But and they train and they get the desirable grots and they sell them because grots are basically just a little slave in the orc culture. It's pretty much the main thing to think about.
Yeah, because the hierarchy is that if you're big, you're higher up.
Yeah.
If you're small, you're lower
They
down.
have that's why they enslave humans sometimes as well.
Yeah, Umis are viewed as like the weak. Even grots can kill Umis because they're like squish. The orcs call them squishy. Because like you squish them and they ooze all over you and they scream and die. And the orcs don't like that.
The grots are like the little feral animal that'll rip your face off is the thing. Yeah.
So grots are like that pit bull called Princess.
Yeah. Cupcake.
A toddler with red 40.
Honestly, me when I used to get given like blue ice lollies when I was a kid.
They're
Before
not even
they
red.
nerfed it. No, they nerfed blue food colouring in the UK. Before they did that.
I know they did that with tattoo ink as well. Blue tattoo ink got banned recently because it had like some weird toxin.
See, it was making kids go
Had some
crazy when they
toxin
ate
in
it. Yeah.
My two artists.
continue
Where's my
with
blue ink gone? Me covered in blue ink. I don't know.
Enslaving humans. You said they used them to make a
Gargants.
gargan.
There is a book, I forgot what it's called, but humans are enslaved and normally put to work.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily fought or anything because the orcs.
Yeah.
Why would the orcs fight a human when they could fight another orc and get a better crumpin fight? Because like Umis that aren't really armed on a unit aren't much of a threat to an orc.
Don't they have an arena though where they just like
That's what orcs crump each other.
romp and fucking
They'll fight each other to get bigger and badder. And
or to just for a bit of fun.
yeah, they're just
Honestly.
bored.
Because if they're bored, the only thing they'll want to do is just crump something.
Yeah, they just want to
So they
fight.
just crump each other.
I think that's the main. That's another reason again going back to the Badmans because fuck you guys, it's a Badmans episode. That's why they're not like that much because they don't do a lot of hand-to-hand crumping. They do a lot of shooty crumping, and orcs don't like shooty crumping. They prefer hand-to-hand. That's why speed freaks aren't liked either. It's like why would you go fast in the car when you can go on foot and crump someone with a mallet?
They crave speed, man. They crave speed.
There's a great extract in Brutal Cunning where I forgot his name. It's like one of the bosses takes another orc in a car, and he does understand the appeal of the fast car because he goes pretty zogging fast, and he says it's pretty fun, but it doesn't beat a good old crump. So he wanted to get out still and do some normal hand-to-hand crumping. But he used that pretty zogging fast car to do a pretty cool crump. I'm not gonna lie, I won't spoil anything.
Average Smethwick. Fucking citizen.
I wake up angry every day because I live in a fucking shit.
That's orcs when there's no crumping about.
For the audio listeners, Alex just spat everywhere when he said the F word.
I apologise.
The F word.
Like he sprayed his words real hard.
No, but you know what I want to talk about as well, because we were touching on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They call humans humies.
Umis.
They call
Humies.
what do they call? They call Aldari skinnies.
Do they call them skinnies?
Yeah.
I did not
I
know
did not know
this.
that either. That's
They call
funny as
them
fuck.
skinnies. They call
They call
Tyranids bug eyes.
they call Tau hentais.
Oh.
That's right, Tau
Because
players.
they look like chickens, right? Hen type.
They have
Yeah.
hooves.
Yeah.
What?
They have hooves.
Oh, hooves. Hooves. I don't know what I thought you said, but it was not hooves.
But it's just funny because they just make up silly little names for all the factions.
They do. They don't. A lot of orcs as well. They've got very much childhood innocence where when they look at other factions, they don't really understand them a lot. Like I think the orcs. There's a great little quote as well where orcs looked at a titan and they realised that the big warlord titan looks more like an orc than a humi because his head was in the centre of its body rather than on top, and it made more sense to them because it's like, oh, that's why they're like, oh, that's why those things are good at crumping.
Just hit a
because
half
it looks
squat
more like
and
an
they'll
orc.
think you're one of them.
That's why it's probably them thinking that made it mega powerful.
Oh no, no, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in this.
Speaking of titans, their equivalent of a titan is like a gargant.
Which
Right.
are terrifying.
Yeah.
They're massive.
Yeah, but they hit on
I
fives. so-
unknowingly used a picture of one Oh my god. I unknowingly used a picture of one in our last thumbnail, not knowing that it was a gargan. I just thought it was a cool picture and it was definitely Warhammer related. No, I've actually looked them up and I'm like, they're pretty sick. I hope they bring them into the what's the thing called?
Warhammer Epic.
The baby Warhammer.
Epic, yeah. Epic
They
scale.
are,
Well,
no,
it's
Epic.
called
Not Epic,
Imperialis
not
now. It's called
Epic.
Legion Imperialis
Legion
now.
Imperialis,
Yeah.
Which is stupid because, again, 40k Epic, because that was which it was called, would be way better than Horus Heresy. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I can collect Space Marines or Space Marines. How fun.
Also, Solar Surductilina.
Same as Imperial man. Man's man. Like, you know. So I don't, like, it's just a bit. It's like, no, I'd rather play some orcs. I'd love to see a Gargant on the table, you're right. It would be so cool.
Yeah, because they used to have when they had what was it called? The plane one. Something
Aeronautica.
Aeronautica
Had
Imperialis.
orcs.
They had orc planes, which were very cool.
Which me and Chad both agree the orc planes are awesome. You want to go for
a Dacker Jet.
I want to go for a burner bomber. Oh, but no, what's it called?
It's called a burner bomber. It's a
Burner
burner
bomber.
bomber.
I love the burner bomber because it's yellow.
That's it. That's the
Yellow.
idea.
You can paint them however you want, but that's the one that's yellow on the box art.
Yeah,
So
so
that's cooler.
you said as well they enslaved humans to build like a gargan or like a stomper or
Yeah,
something along those
humans
lines.
are frequently used like labour or just fed to squigs or eaten by orcs as a treat. So
Oh, yeah.
tank buster
Little
orcs.
treat.
So tank buster orcs initiation is when you kill your first tank. They have a big party inside the tank. Even if the battle's still going on, they have a party.
Yeah.
So you kill your first tank. You go in, you eat the crew, and you get drunk off the engine oil.
Oh, they get drunk of engine oil.
The tank
Hi, guys.
busters do. They drink all the petrol, engine oil, diesel, whatever they're using. They drink it all. They get blackout drunk in the tank. Chill out, sober up, go crump another tank with their rocket. Well, they have the main one's rocket mallets, where they just strap a rocket to a stick and hit the tank real zogging hard.
I've actually changed my mind now. Do you remember when we were talking about where we would be in the 40k universe? I'd be one of those tank dwellers who's unfortunately ran into a herd of orcs.
I'd be a snotling going through one of those big mech shock attack guns.
No, I'd be an oil squig.
I'd be an air squig.
No, I'd be an oil squig. Whenever something's rusty, they'd squeeze me and I'd oil it up. I'd just be like, oh! That's me oiling it.
Aren't you wearing an air squig right now?
I am. How do you know?
Your hair just suddenly appeared one day. You were bald yesterday.
Yeah, you got long red hair out of nowhere in one spot.
Can we agree that this will become the future of hair transplants? All you fucking posers getting hair transplants now, why do that when you can get a cool parasitic leech to stick
I'm
on your
pretty sure
head?
Donald Trump already does that, man.
He just uses a Persian cat.
Next episode, Neve's in court for claiming Donald Trump has a parasite for a wig.
me when I look at the glorious leader of North Korea and want to get hair like him, so I make sure that I grow my hair out really long and brush it in the exact way he does because he's the glorious leader.
He invented basketball.
What
Yeah.
did you say?
Hey, I'm being
Anyway,
friendly to
Gorkamork.
all of our audiences.
Let's talk about Gorkamork.
Yeah, I did a little bit of research on Gorkamork and I find it really funny because the whole thing about Gorkamork is to understand it, you've got to think like an orc, right? So just dumb it down as much as you can.
Ooh.
Ooh, ooh. This is the exercise to get into the Gork mindset. Everyone make orc noises.
Ooh, go.
Gonna crump myself. Did too much thinking. Gonna crump myself.
Okay. Gork is brutal and cunning. And Mork is cunning and brutal.
Wow.
The dichotomy of man.
So do you understand what that means? Because I think I explained it to you and you don't. You were not in the room when I was explaining this.
The first one's domain 1, but the second one's still domain 1.
Yeah, they're pretty much interchangeable. But regular orcs, most of them like Gork. Because Gork is brutal first. He will just crump you, yeah? He's gonna beat you up, he's gonna take your knees out.
Good old crumping.
Take your knees out, use them as coasters for his engine oil. You know
Honest
what I mean?
crumping.
Honest crumping,
that's
honest
it, yeah.
crumping.
Honest.
And some orcs don't like the people who like Mork better sometimes because it's not seen as kind of as honest because Mork is cunning and so he'll wait for you to turn around and then he'll hit you in the head.
But it's
Politicians.
yeah, I was going to say good point because didn't you say more war bosses preferred more?
Yes, so war bosses are more morky fellas because they are one to actually like strategize. But at the end of the day, orc strategy is just a simple case of like they sneak out the bushes and hit them in the back of the knees before they have the time to turn around.
going to orc strategy as well, actually, that's one thing where all orcs will be that, except you have the very rare case of the orc commandos, who are actually generally clever. They can they understand languages inherently because they can see the patterns behind them. Orcs are just autistic. I've just kind of realised that they understand patterns and they can then read languages. They can do it. Other orcs hate them. They don't talk to them. They separate them from all culture. But the commandos are generally amazing. The statisticians, they're probably orc followers, and they're very, very good guys. So yeah.
So it's the thing as well with the cheeky Gorkon Mork, where it is like some of them just don't like Mork as much, or like some of them don't like Mork followers as much just because they're like, it's not honest crumping. It's if you got to strategize, then you're not crumping right. It's not that they don't like any specific god. At the end of the day, they're both crumping, so it's fine.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, the goal is to crump, you know. So it's just they're like, why are you strategizing? What's the point? Just crump.
Which is a valid point, I may add.
That is literally how you play Warhammer games.
Again, this is why I've kind of just slowly done my transition back to realising that I should just keep playing orcs because I had the most fun playing them in other editions.
Because all you do whenever you get a new army is you're like, oh, I wish I was just playing an army where I could just run in and crump.
Until you paid him, you know, in the World Eaters, and then
World
then
Eaters,
you lost the game. You're like, you know what?
There was strategy by World Eaters. I didn't like it, man. The berserk, like orcs, it's like, you know what? All your guns are shit. All your models are shit. You have no hope. So pick what you like, run in, and crump.
Did you know there's orc prophets as well? Like Jesus.
I don't know much about them, no.
So the name of the guy, which I couldn't pronounce, and I'm not going to try and pronounce again, is like whoever's like whoever's like the like most crumpiest orc at the moment, the biggest like baddest orc is like seen as like a prophet.
Is Gaz called a prophet?
Yeah, Gaz calls a prophet.
Is he a prophet of Mork or is he a prophet of Gork? With both?
Both. It's just it's like to most they're interchangeable, but most people are just like Gork first.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're pretty similar. One's just like a little bit more strategic, but as strategic as an orc can get.
As you can see the Gorkanaut and the Morkanaut.
So they have prophets, and also it's like the stompers and stuff and the gargants are like effigies to the gods, and they're meant to be made in the god's image.
Yeah.
So it's quite funny to like look at an orc stomper and think, yeah, that's what they think their god looks like.
But it also means, I know orcs do believe that's what the Imperial Man think their titans almost, they think the titans are kind of also effigies to the Emperor. They don't realize it's an effigy to the machine god, which it is. But that's why they view them as inferior to the gargants.
I just think it's really funny that they're like, yeah, do you know what my god looks like? He's a cone. Because orc stompers are like cone shaped. They're like
Christmas
skinny at the
tree.
top. Yeah, Christmas tree shaped. And then they always have like a big gun sticking right out the bottom. Sorry, that was a really bad, like for the audio listeners, I just like
You've just
made an interesting gesture.
Massive knob.
But they have like a big gun that sticks out the front at the bottom, and I'm like, what does that tell us about Gork and Mork?
They're well endowed.
with weapons.
No, they have massive schmeat sticks.
Massive knobs, one might say.
They splooge all over the galaxy, and that's why orcs will turn up anywhere.
Yeah.
Gork and Mork are big leaders, meaning they would have big knobs following them.
Yeah.
Mega knobs, one could say.
Mega knobs.
I remember as a kid, that was the main reason I used to love the
biggest
orcs.
and
I found it so funny being able to just walk into a shop and saying, I will have a box of knobs, please.
We're too immature to cover the topic of knobs. I couldn't even keep myself together when we talk about Ferris Manus because I couldn't stop thinking about bigger stickers. It's having a hard time.
Bigger sticker.
What was the point? What was the point of that?
Oh, it's the Life of Brian. It's the Life of Brian meme.
I have no clue what you're about.
Oh, you should watch Life of Brian. It's brilliant. All our listeners definitely know what Life of Brian is.
You can tell
big Monty Python fans.
You can tell an orcs player by looking at them. Somebody whose first army was orcs. You can look at a guy and you can be like, you were an orcs player.
Basically.
And if someone's got purple paint all over their hands, be scared.
Because you know they've got an army on the table, but you can't. You can't so can see it.
Alex did this the other day. This guy was like, yeah, I play 40k. Guess what I play? And Alex just went, you play orcs, don't you? And he just looked at him like, how did you know?
Because basically, if they're chill as fuck, they don't look like they're good at strategy, and they look like they're going to have a fucking great time playing against you no matter what, They're an orc player.
I was more thinking the higher grease content in there, the more orky.
The more they enjoy the gym. The
That
more
is-
you
yeah.
deadlift, the closer you become to an orc fight. Unless your name's Alex and you have a glass back.
Hey. I
And
can bench
feeble
more
knees.
than
And
you.
feeble knees.
I can bench more than
Yeah,
you.
but
So.
I'm a woman.
Yeah, get fucked that. You do powerlifting. You should be able to bench more than
That
me.
is embarrassing, to be honest.
I've been benching for a week. I'm almost at Jack. I've almost got you. I'm 5K off. I get that.
Let's talk about squats instead.
Yeah, let's talk about squigs.
So anyway.
Yeah, so we've got squigs. Squigs and squats.
Could you squat a squig?
No, how
Yeah.
heavy is a squig?
It's probably like a concrete
They're
football.
like
100 kg.
a concrete football.
No, they're big.
They are large. They're chunky boys.
The little puppies.
I mean,
All the Nurgle things puppies.
let's
but
be-
squigs are puppies.
let's be clear. I have some squig models on my desk, and these are Sigma squig models. But how big would you say a git is?
That's an 8 foot tall war boss, and that's the same size git as that.
Oh, but is it scaled the same as Sigma?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
they are.
that's the grot on top, and that's the same
Oh,
size
sorry.
as the other grot.
He's a hopper, so he's a bit
Not
tall.
Ugluk, bad breath.
So I'd say looking at that, he's probably at least
7 foot tall.
maybe 6, because he's kind of in the air a bit and his legs are a bit long.
Oh yeah, he's jumping off a mushroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be about 4 to 6 foot tall.
Yeah, 4 to 6 feet tall, probably about bloody how many feet long?
Probably about
3
2,
feet,
3 foot long.
3
Yeah.
feet long.
Oh, your guy doesn't have any air squigs.
No,
There's meant to be air squigs on that model.
no, he's a mega knob. He's bald. He doesn't need it. He's the biggest of the
For
bosses.
the audio listeners, we're surrounded by grey plastic right now.
A zenithal plastic as well.
Zenithal.
If mine was here,
Zenithal.
it'd be a lot of red.
Jack's had bloody
There's
diarrhea
actually
for the last
for the audio listeners, there is actually tons on the desk. We just all have purple hands.
Yeah, I brought my 40,000 point orc army with me.
40,000. That'd be so many.
No, to be actually, yeah, for orcs it would be. I'm just even if it was all like orc stompers, that would still be like 400 orc stompers.
I have another thing actually, because I'm worried we're running a little low on orc content. But I don't know if it was a headcanon or a real thing where it was like the story of some Imperial Guards people who got abandoned on like an
Oh,
orc
yeah, no,
planet.
this is a real thing.
And oh, is it? Yeah, right, okay. So they got like stuck in a cave. They ran out of all the resources, and they went, "Fuck it, we're gonna paint ourselves green and just pretend to be orcs and hope they don't notice." And you said the orcs like know they're
Oh, yeah.
humans.
They thought it was funny.
But they think it's kind of like cute
Yeah.
in a way. Like they're like,
They
they
know-
want to be us. That's so
It wasn't
funny.
that. It was more they saw it and they were like, "Those are skinny orcs. Those are humy orcs."
The orcs get a less credit with their intelligence. They can figure stuff out. Some orcs can't.
Yeah.
Some orcs genuinely are stupid, but even other orcs view them as stupid.
I like the idea if they were like, "Oh, these humans want to be us. They must be sick humans."
Yeah, they
But
generally
because
thought it was
they
cute.
originally were hunting them, and then the humans painted themselves green and started going with orc culture, and they started hunting the orcs back, and the orcs were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
they're orcs."
But then the humans also actually capped it.
Yeah.
They didn't actually give it up and go back to the Imperials like, damn, this is fucking good fun. I like a good crump.
Yeah, they just go around crumping each other. They go trade with the other orcs after breaking their teeth out.
They go enslave some Gretchens.
Question
you know.
is, what's the trade rate between humy teeth and orc teeth?
Oh.
Well, orc and humans do trade. That's where you get the freebooters who are like orc mercenaries, but they're kind of more trading in goods. So orcs
Yeah.
or don't just trade teeth. They're like a very much bartering system where teeth is also viewed as a currency. So like a currency barter system where it's like if you have a weapon and an orc wants, and they have a piece of armor that the other orc wants, and be like, right, let's do a good old swaps, and they swaps it. And then they go to humans and they say, we're like, right, you want us to fight in a battle with you? We'll do it if you give us that rhino. And they won't use the rhino as it is. They modify it into an orc truck or something like that. So that's where we get these cool orc
They
trucks.
fill it full of fucking bomb squids.
They get kamikaze
This
truck.
bad boy right here can fit 15 bomb squids inside him.
15? You're fucking mental.
You're
I'm
gonna cop
actually-
yourself doing that.
My mind's been zoggled at the fact that squigs are actually that large. Like, for some reason in my head, they were like knee high.
Yeah, same. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Imagine having that running towards you as like an
That's
Imperial Guardsman.
that's like at least 3 feet taller than me.
Imagine
I'm like 3
getting
feet tall.
eaten. There's a great story actually where Princeps gets eaten by a squig and the whole Titan's like twitching and shaking in pain because of course the Princeps can feel it. The Titan,
I've
the
seen
Emperor
this,
Titan's like,
yeah. It's like there's like orc commandos or something. Squad gets on top of
it wasn't a squad. It was just 2 orcs.
It was like, yeah, a
and
couple
a,
of orcs got on top, and
weird
there's a
boom car.
squig, and they he didn't care about killing the little humies. He cared about killing the big machine.
Yeah.
So he was shooting at the big machine, destroying it, and he was like, he opened up the cockpit. It's like, here you go, little Squiggy, go in there. And the big squig guy, went nuts, ate all of them, and the Titans started spazzing out.
It was some Bad Moons orcs who did a big I don't know what the fucking car's called, but it can warp travel on top of a Warlord Titan, broke into the headspace because they figured the crew would be in the headspace, broke in, killed all the crew, and they were like, oh, there must be more, dropped some bombs, killed all of them basically, and then the squig dropped down as well, the squig dropped in, and they saw the princeps, they didn't know what it was, they just was like, oh, that's a weak Umi, and they thought it was kind of gross, so they just smashed the thing, and just looked it on the ground, and the squig ran in, and it was hungry because it was trying to eat the grot that was with them, and the grot was running away, the grot ran away, and then the squig kept chasing it and latched his mouth around the princeps and started eating the princeps. And it got a weird name, I think it got called something like, it got its name from eating the princeps, but I forgot what it was called.
It was like Titan Eater or something.
It was something funny. It's good. That's in Brutal Cunning, which that's one of the big scenes in Brutal Cunning.
That squig was scrunning good.
No, it wasn't. Princeps are emaciated as fuck. It just ate some bones.
Yeah, but chomp on the bones.
Feeble knees,
Squigs.
glass back.
They'll eat anything, man.
Just shows that you can have feeble knees and a glass back and still pilot one of the biggest things in the Imperium.
Isn't it just because you've fully given yourself over to it though?
You physically can't pilot it without becoming one with it. Like once you get past a certain size of Titan, it becomes easy to
They should
merge.
probably put it behind thicker glass then.
No one's gonna break.
The squigs.
It's a
and
miracle.
The orcs.
Breaking into it wasn't even a warlord. It was an Emperor class Titan cockpit. Is viewed as pretty much impossible.
Unless you're an orc.
Unless you got the brutal cunning.
Unless you
of
believe
Mork
hard
on your
enough.
side. The brutal cunning of Mork.
Probably Gork.
No.
Mork's
Mork.
cunning brutal. Gork's brutal and cunning.
Yeah, but he was more brutal than Cunning.
No, breaking in's cunning.
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 But he
Mork.
crumped his way in.
He
Which
didn't-
is more brutal.
I think we just answered the argument of I think it was both, and it's both got, they are interchangeable.
It just made me giggle so hard when I read that, and it was like, to understand this, you have to think like an orc. So I was like, what is the difference? And it did make sense.
Yeah.
It made so much sense.
They're really cool. I love them.
Oh yeah,
Makes
it's great.
Do we need to have a piss break together?
We do.
Let's
Me,
go jack
you-
each other off.
A really big poo. I've been cooking something up.
We've actually now drilled a hole in the wall between the bathrooms so these two can hold hands.
We have. Well, yeah, that's what
Well, it's not hand sized, but something fits through it.
that's what we told her it was for. Alright.
What did he say?
No.
Well, while we have our intermission, I will chat about my recent hobby stuff, I guess. I've been building Kairos Fairweaver, because of course it has been the Warhammer anniversary. I can't remember what year anniversary it has been. But, you know, it was the Warhammer anniversary, like, a week or so ago. And we did the classic thing, you know, spend your £200, get all your Warhammer. I mean, we did it collectively. By collectively, I mean me and Jack. So I got Kairos, he got Mortarion. We then buffed it up even more with some Rubric Marines and a Plague Burst Crawler, because we somehow had that in stock in the shop. But yeah, I have been building him, and I have now also been experimenting with kit bashing for the first time and basing my Kairos Fateweather model. And today I was literally just before the podcast started, I was like, I'm gonna glue these cute little brimstone horrors on, because they are very, very, very cute. They remind me of like the Zinch version of like Nurglings. They're pretty adorable, just little flamey guys. And then I was like, you know what I need on this base? Tentacles. Because what doesn't benefit from tentacles, you know? So I was like, I don't actually have any tentacles. I was like, I could steal some of Jack's because he has loads from his Nurgly stuff. But I was like, no. There's a weapon on here that's just got twizzly ends that I'm not using and I'm not going to use. I'm a snap it up. I got the Warhammer pliers and I just pushed as hard as I could. Plastic flying everywhere. One bit nearly went in my eye. One bit nearly went in Alex's brew. Like, I was snipping them up. But it looks really good. And when I eventually get round to painting it in the next like 10 to 15 business years, I will it will go up on the Instagram, or it will be available for all to view. I will admit he was not too difficult to build, but I had some hard times with heavy pieces being glued on in places where heavy pieces would not sit still. The wings are so dense. And his big staff, it's glued on at one point that's not even like push fit or anything. It's not got any like clear grippy points. It's just flat surface to flat surface. You have to sit there for like half an hour holding it together, praying that it doesn't just slip apart. And it did. It did like 3 times slip apart. I think I spent more of the time just sticking on his hand with his massive book staff than anything else. And then I look at the model, I look at the like, picture on the front of the box, I'm like, why is it so like lopsided? It's not even standing up correctly. Oh, I'm hoping it'll be an alright paint job, because I know it's a Zinch model. It's a Zinch model at the end of the day. It's going to be difficult. It's very intricate. There's a lot of things going on. Don't know if it'll be as difficult as Jack's Mortarion, or whether it'll be harder. But I'm excited. I don't get to paint with a lot of blues and greens, except with my Night Hunt, I guess. But that's a lot of very like muted blues. So I'm very excited to do something bright and something different, and to paint wings and feathers. Hello. I was talking about the Warhammer Shop anniversary and how we always, well, not always, we do spend money to get the rewards.
I feel really relaxed right now.
We got the Warhammer backpack.
Yeah, it's sitting in my room right now. Just not wearing it around.
We got the Warhammer backpack. Yay! And I was talking about just the figures we got, and how you somehow got your hands on a Plague Burst Crawler in store.
Yeah.
By miracle.
Well, it's not that rare. Like.
Oh, you said it was like out of production, or like they only do it to
They
print.
barely produce it anymore. It's
Yeah.
like you have to go order it in. It takes like 2 weeks.
The guy at the shop knew what he was doing when he pulled that Plague Burst. He went, "We got a Plague Burst Crawler in the back, by the way," and then just like put it in front of Jack.
See, they can't tempt me, because every time I go back in, I've got a new army fascination, and I'm not interested in what they have that's special anymore.
No, every time you end up buying something, you get rizzed. You get rizzled by the guys at
But
the
it's different each
shop.
time. I'll go in with a different topic, but
No, because they do this real cool thing where they're like, "Oh, you interested in this? Got some of this in the back," and then they like pull out like a random model that's like not really printed much anymore, and you're like, "Oh,
give me that.
oh my god!" And it's like your Beast Riders. Oh, that was very American.
It's like your Beast Riders, man.
Your
They're
Beast
fucking
Riders,
like
man.
those big fat ogres from Sigmar, and they like eat a load of burgers and fries and McDonald's.
Get on their hogs.
Get on their fucking cattle ranch, and they fucking go and do some cowboy shit. I thought it was gonna be a loud fart, but I've just fucking gassed the room a little bit. Thought you guys were gonna hear that one, but no. Only your visual listeners get to see that.
As he strained to push that one out.
I did.
He just went to the toilet, man.
Oh,
Jack, stop.
I did not.
Jack is beetroot red right now.
I was trying to push one out, but I got stage show or whatever it's called.
Stage fright.
Yeah.
My goodness.
That shit sucked its way back in me.
It has devolved.
We just
Grots.
love orcs. Oh, let's talk about grots.
Grot guns, orc guns. So no one wanted to do them because they have a very, very cool ability of they're not built well, so they blow up a lot. So they put the grots on it. And the grots don't like doing it either. Because even the grots like to get in to do some crumping. But the other orcs like, nah mate, we need artillery. You're the fucking bomber blaster. I don't give a shit that Cecil got blown up last week.
Cecil.
You're on it this week.
Do it or you're getting fed to Marsquake.
Yeah, and they're like, fair enough, boss.
They've got like a squig behind them and like an angry looking orc being like, "You're gonna get it."
It's like when you hold Princess by a playground for 3-year-olds.
Yeah, it's like they're not going to leave. They're not leaving. However, the playground's guarded by Soul Destroyer the Third, and he's pretty chill. He's off his leash.
Soul Destroyer the Third.
Soul Destroyer the Third. That's so funny.
But yeah, it's like, so they have the orc grot guns, which are built pretty off. So you got the bubble blasters, you got the orc dropper gun, which is hilarious because it just defies gravity.
What is that?
So it's these big guns, and some of the Gargants have them, and they're so powerful, the Gargant ones, that they can pick up Warhound Titans and just throw them at another Titan because they're getting sick. They hate Warhound Titans because they're cowardly ones. They don't sit and take a shot. They run away from the shot because they're fast. And the orc's like,
So
why would you do that?
It just like picks them up and then chucks them across the
Yeah,
room. That's
just like,
pretty cool.
oh.
It's a bit like a vacuum. I imagine just like it being like a giant Hoover.
Yeah.
And they just like suck it up like a ping pong ball and then like turn it to blow instead. It flies away.
So it kind of just shows how intelligent the orcs are, that they are very, very good at fighting. Like, no other race has fought, you know what? Like, even the Tau can't deal with Warhound Titans. They're awful because they're hard to hit because they're so quick. The orcs, like, why would we shoot a cowardly thing when we could just pick it up and throw it at the bigger one? And that's exactly what they do. They pick up the Warlord Titan, just throw it at the Warlord Titan. Like that, it's gonna knock it over. It's gonna do something at least. But a lot of orcs do have that. They have general anti-grav technology where they orc mechs in mega armor can get the grav things on top of them, where they can just pick people up and they can just like pick up, slam to the ground, pick up, slam to the ground, pick up. Okay, now he's squished. Let's move on. Pick up, slam. They find it just funny because they like watching stuff get squished, and they just think it's comical. It's a big comedy to the orcs. They have some pretty cool guns, but grots are normally manned onto them. So grots like sealed into killer cans and set out to the battlefields where they have these like little orc, probably more the equivalent of like half dreadnought terminators. Well, not too
aggressors or something
tough.
like that.
Yeah, they're tough. They're durable, but they don't deal tons of damage. Well, in the game that is, because fucking the lore is just not related to the game at all. So if you think about game terms like that, they have death dreads as well, which I think grots have put in, but there might be boys. I look at the hatch on mine, and it's not big enough to get a boy in, but it's big enough to get a grot in. So grots are only given those jobs because they're not viewed as very orky jobs, because orcs would rather be in person doing the crumping, while grots are like, oh, we can put them in this big can. They have little grot tanks as well. They're tiny little tanks that literally just look like oil drums with a gun put in front. Like, yeah, send them out. And so yeah, you just show the grots aren't just like
it's like the equivalent of just like wearing a lampshade.
Yeah.
It's like try and blend in. Yeah.
It's like grots aren't as powerless or untactical as you think. They are generally utilised.
In the little story I just read, the grot that I forgot his name. He was super smart. Like I'm talking smart. He was definitely a Mork enjoyer, right? He was kind of
like a level 60 IQ.
Maybe a level like 50 at best, right? But the rest of them were like level 30, and he was with this war boss, and he was helping, and the other grot, he was planning to overthrow basically the entire like war boss and become the grot boss. And he was smart. He was planning this out, and he's like, right, how am I gonna do this? He goes up to the other grot. He's serving them. The other grot's really close. And he's like, what's your plan? What's your plan to do this? And the other grot's too stupid. Didn't realise like. So I heard when we came here, the cave over there was some skinnies that blew the entrance up, and they think there's some weapons in there. So they go in there. Turns out there's skinnies in there. They kill them, get this huge skinny melter, big like Aldari melter, go out and blast the fucking war boss. And it's just like.
Police said they flew backwards while doing it. Like,
pretty much. It was just like, what the fuck.
That's the noise I'm going to use to sense this. Sounds like the R2D2 scream.
Wow!
Yeah, but it's pretty cool because grots, I think some of them as well, are just quite smart and like really cunning and trying to like overthrow people.
They're Mork enjoyers. Grots are Mork fans. They're underrated as fuck. I love a grot. Grots are great.
They have to be Mork over Gork because they're going to be brutal, but they need to be cunning first.
Yeah, because they're not as strong as the other orcs.
That's the thing.
They're not going to get ahead.
They can't lift up an orc gun.
No.
That's the thing. The Gork gun weighs as much as them. They can't do that. So they need something tactical.
Orcs can crump to get ahead. Grots have to think to get ahead.
I have to think.
Think.
Is it think with an F or dink?
Think with an F.
I've always dink for some
It's
reason.
teeth with an F. Think. Well, it's orcs. It's interchangeable.
Yeah, true. It's just I still can't get out of my head.
I'm gonna dink myself.
No.
I mean, crump myself.
I used to do the dinking, then he grumped himself.
Our boss taught us to read. He thought us smarts would get us more tactical than that. And then old fucking One Eye thought a bit too hard about absurdism and that and started to crump himself, and now reading's off the menu again. Sad times.
Yeah, because the orcs are did sad times, but they.
Hey, he was getting into his Nietzsche. Like he was getting fascinated.
You've
by
been
the
reading too
man.
much philosophy, man. Stop it.
Yeah, I don't read. I just watch on YouTube because I'm too stupid.
I can't read, to be honest.
I need a break.
None of us actually read is the problem.
Yeah, we're all fucking thick. How the fuck we got into uni is probably just because we'd have to sit A levels.
It's because we're doing. At least us two are doing engineering. We don't have to read that much.
The future is safe, boys. You've got engineers you can't read.
For the audio listeners, Alex just mewed on us.
It's because I'm doing the superior course where I get to read about landscape art.
Anyway, back onto orcs.
Orcs, I think they are. What philosophy do you think orcs would subscribe to? I don't think it'd be Stoicism. I think they'd be more into the absurdist reality. That Freud, I think Freud's more of a celestial concept because he fucked his own mom.
Definitely. No, that was Oedipus, you silly Billy.
No, before, yeah, Oedipus complex. Freud made the Oedipus complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Electra complex, which was just the other way around. And then he also said that like it's the dad's fault if your daughter turns out to be a lesbian,
Right.
and then his daughter turned out to be a lesbian.
Right.
This is too much thinking for me. I'm gonna go crap
Yeah.
myself now. I've been thinking too hard about all
Like
these
if you
morals and
hit
stuff.
Freud.
The most interactive podcast episode for anyone who actually made it into what in 1 hour and fucking 9 minutes.
Standard retention is about, I think, 20 seconds.
Oh,
So I get 10 seconds and I'm like, fuck me, what are they talking about?
yeah, if you guys actually watch
Right.
this shit, how
I think we're pretty much...
we've done all our thinking.
We've got all our thinking and we're ready to crump ourselves.
Yeah.
So, thank you for listening. This has been episode 4 of the Guzzlers podcast.
Yes,
the
it has.
next episode, should we say what it's going to be on now? Just make a on the spot decision and just do it on that.
Next episode from High Demand from me is on Aldari.
Woo!
Even though Alex has already gone off it and onto orcs, which is why we're doing
Hey,
orcs this week.
I can still read Aldari. I do love them. They're quite cool. They're
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Right, so tune in next week for another little podcast. Thank you for listening. Love you lots. I'm gonna go crump myself now.
Whoa!